When the secular world, which is very appealing and convincing, but very wrong, when the secular world starts calling intimacy making love, they obviously have no idea what intimacy means. So if you want to describe sex, when it's nice and polite, then it's making love. Intimacy, much more important than love, and much greater than something you can make. So if you're making love, you're not having intimacy. Because intimacy is infinitely holier, greater, more real, more true, more important than love. And that's why, if you love somebody, fine. You don't, so you don't. Nobody's angry at you. You can't tell somebody to love. You can't love somebody illegally. You love, you're going to jail. But if you're intimate incorrectly, you go to jail. So the difference is, love is personal. Intimacy is interpersonal. What you do personal, that's your own business. Nobody can tell you, and nobody can arrest you for what you do personal. But interpersonal, if you don't do it right, you're a criminal. You're abusive. You're destructive. So, by seeing that the society is trying to make nice, by calling intimacy making love, you realize that they have no idea. They're thinking sex. Yeah, sex you have to make nice, because it's not nice. It's taking. There is no taking between two human beings. Let's take that a step further. In this oneness, there has to be a male and a female. Two females cannot become one, and two males cannot become one. And the reason for it is this. To become one, you have to dissolve, you have to disappear into this oneness. If you remove all things that separate you, then you don't stand apart anymore. You disappear. You become absorbed into that oneness. But there's a male and a female way of doing this. How does a man dissolve into a relationship? If he's really a man, the masculine way. The masculine way of dissolving into a relationship is if a man is willing to give everything to his wife. If he's willing to give partially, he's not going to be intimate, and he's not really a man. Because a man is a giver, and if you give partially, you're not a giver at all. Because if you can't give it completely, then you're not really a giver. There's a story that the Rebbe Rashab said to the Frierdiker Rebbe when he was a little boy, I saw earlier today that you gave your friend a part of your candy, whatever candies they had back then, cane, whatever. But I saw that you didn't do it with your whole heart. And he explained the difference between doing something wholeheartedly or doing something half-heartedly. So on the one hand, you can say that Rebbe was teaching him to be more generous. You can also say he was teaching him to be a man. Because to give means to give everything, which means give yourself. If you're just giving something, that's not giving. That's not a mashpia. And that's why a husband is not allowed to be intimate with his wife if he's hesitating, if he's not sure, if he really doesn't want to, if he's not really completely there for her, then he's not allowed to be intimate with her. Because partial intimacy, that's not healthy. So, in order for a man to lose himself, to dissolve into a oneness, he has to be a man all the way, which means he has to give everything. For a woman, to dissolve into the oneness, she has to do it as a woman. What does it take for a woman to dissolve? She has to receive him without any holding back, without any hesitation or reservation. If she receives him but partially, she is frustrated as a woman, she doesn't feel like a woman, she doesn't feel like a wife, and she cannot be happy. Because she hasn't gotten to the oneness, which means she hasn't really been intimate. Okay? So far? Becoming one means the man gives himself completely so that he dissolves. The woman receives him completely to the point where she dissolves. And what's left? A oneness that leaves room for a third person, which is the baby. That's called intimacy. So even if babies don't happen, what you did enables a baby. That's called intimacy. Whether a baby is going to happen or not, that's up to God. So when the grandmothers told their children or their grandchildren, what happens in the bedroom? Nothing. Exactly right. Exactly right. Nothing. When there's just him and her, there's nothing. They become one. Now this experience of oneness is worth every effort we could possibly make. And even in the best marriages, where people know what they're doing, and it's a love that is not dependent on anything, they don't always succeed. But that's their goal. So if they succeed half the time, they are a very happy couple.